Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the Ferndale City Council meeting for Monday, January the 23rd, 2012, and call this meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, will you call the roll?
Council members Galloway.
Here.
Lennon.
Here.
Martin.
Here.
Piana.
Here.
And Mayor Coulter.
Here, yes, thank you. We have a quorum. Our next item would be the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda or any changes this evening?
So moved, Your Honor, to approve the agenda as written.
Support.
All right. Moved by Lennon, supported by Piana. Is there any discussion about the agenda this evening? Madam Clerk, once again.
Council members Galloway.
Yes.
Lennon.
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
And Piana.
Yes.
And Mayor Coulter.
Yes, thank you. The agenda is adopted. Our next item of business is presentations. We have a number of presentations this evening. The first one I would like to introduce, and this one's a little bittersweet. We are honoring and recognizing a longtime Ferndale City employee this evening, and I think she's probably very well known to all of you here and most of you at home as well. Shirley, would you come forward, please, while I read a few words about Shirley. On behalf of the Ferndale City Council, we extend our deep appreciation as Shirley Ann Algram, who's the administrative assistant to the city manager, is retiring on January 31st, 2012. She began her career with the city of Ferndale on July 14th, 1986, when she was 12 years old, and has served with distinction for 25 years. She began working for the city of Ferndale after completing a distinguished 25-year career with the city of Hazel Park. Oh, I guess that exposes my lie about you being 12. All right. She has worked with diligence and efficiency for 7 city managers, 7 different bosses, 7 different personalities. That alone speaks a lot about you, Shirley. And so, therefore, be it resolved that we, the Ferndale elected officials, hereby express not only ours, but the community's sincere appreciation and best wishes for a happy and healthy retirement to Shirley Algram as she retires after 25 years of dedicated service. And before I give you this resolution, Shirley, and give you an opportunity if you'd like to say a few words, I'd like to give Council and the folks here an opportunity to embarrass you as well.
I'll just say that we've talked probably 2-3 times a week, every week since my first election. If I needed something, it was 1-800-SHIRLEY. She was a go-to person, and I'm going to miss you, Shirley. I really am.
I'd like to say it's not just the city, but 5 years ago when I joined the Ferndale Community Foundation, the first thing everybody says is, oh, Shirley does that for us, or oh, Shirley helps that with us. So it's not just what you've done for the city, but the nonprofits and all the folks involved in the community. And I just, on behalf of all of them and everyone else, we just can't thank you enough. We wouldn't have been able to function.
I've always been impressed with your professionalism, Shirley, and your ability to get those little teeny phone messages into the typewriter and type them up. And we'll miss your purple inked pens and all the nice little notes and stuff that we got by email or otherwise. So thanks for all your service. You've made my 10 years here really a lot more pleasant than they would have been otherwise.
Well, I think you're like the walking encyclopedia of city history. If you want to know who did it, where it is, how it was done, you call Shirley, and that is going to be missed. But also building on what Councilman Martin said, with nonprofits, the Suburbs Alliance started inside Ferndale City Hall, and you were a great asset to us figuring out how to launch ourselves as a startup nonprofit, and she still processes our checks when they come to City Hall. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I have enjoyed my years with Ferndale, and sorry it's ending, but new things are happening, and we'll go on. I just, like I say, I'm very, very happy. Our residents are just phenomenal, our staff, our council, and so forth, and I thank you for 25 wonderful years. Thank you very much.
Well, Crystal, I don't envy you having to follow that. I think you're next, right? But next item of business is a presentation from the Ferndale 115, which is Crystal Proxmire, and that's a presentation to the Goodfellows. Crystal.
Hi. As you know, back in December, the Ferndale 115 News did a fundraising campaign to raise money for the Ferndale Goodfellows, which is an organization that since 1923 has been providing food and gifts for needy families in Ferndale and the surrounding communities. And so basically we did our first online fundraiser and was able to raise, their part of it is $467.26. And I guess it's going to be you. And I'm sure that Chief Sullivan will make sure that this gets to the right place and can help needy kids in the community for next Christmas. Thanks.
Thanks, Krista, for helping publicize that and raise the funds for a really great cause. Thank you very, very much. Larry, are you looking for pictures, or no, we missed our photo op? All right, we'll get it later. All right, our next presentation is the End of Prohibition Party Awards, and I see Monica Mills here to present an award on behalf of that.
Thank you, and you're right, Crystal did do a phenomenal job. Not only, let's see here, Larry and I would like to make up the Daily Planet Award for Crystal Proxmire. Actually, it goes to Ferndale 115. Receives the Daily Planet Award for 2011 Goodfellows effort, newspaper coverage topping Perry White, Lois Lane, and Jimmy Olsen. Online donations saving the day as Clark Kent would have. So Ferndale's own super citizen, Crystal Proxmire.
That's great.
All righty. And yes, the event did do very well. I would just like to really quickly mention our sponsors. They really stepped up. Sponsors included Danny's Irish Pub, the Ferndale American Legion, Sneakers, Green Thumb Garden Center, Hodges Subaru, Mincer's Collision, Tommy's Detroit Bar and Grill, that's a neighbor of ours, Valentine Distilling Company. Let's see here. Other venues included Dino's, House by You, the New Way Bar, Tony's Sports Bar, cash collected in the moonshine jugs that our volunteers helped pass around came to $1,262. Let me real quick mention our volunteers, who were Bud Easton, Colleen Hamlin, Ann Hubbard, Bonnie Miller and Diane Ryan, also Jared Borowski, who's also a Ferndale firefighter, and all of those people live outside the city of Ferndale. And then our residents included Becky Babineau, Jenna Bush, Gary Clapp, Craig Covey, Judy Elias and her husband Tom, Joe Hemmick. He's a Ferndale firefighter. I really don't know what city he lives in, so I just placed him in Ferndale. Tammy Howard, Karen James, Dan Martin, Mary O'Brien, Crystal, Heather Trainer, and Terry Watkins. And including the online newspaper sales, the whole event raised $4,368. So, and then the one venue that really went above and beyond was Sneakers. Anybody here? I guess I forgot to call them and remind them. But, you know, Larry makes those really cool Tommy guns. Well, we didn't dare bring a replica of a Tommy gun here, so we just brought the magazine. And so we're going to go over there and present this to them. Best Speakeasy Sneakers, most dough collected for 2011 Ferndale Goodfellows effort. Thank you, Dave Cantrell, Katie Buckner, and their staff.
Oh, that's
So,
great.
thank you.
And the one name you forgot to mention, Monica, is your name. Thank you for all the work that you did as well.
Well, you're welcome.
Thank
And Larry.
you.
It's all his idea.
All right. Giving out a lot of money tonight. Anybody got any for us? Maybe. Chris Hughes, the Downtown Development Authority has their monthly presentation for us. What's happening at the DDA, Chris?
All kinds of things. Good evening, Mayor, Council, City Manager, everybody else. First of all, I'd like to echo what you said about Shirley. The Ferndale DDA is going to miss her also. She was just a wonderful go-to person. We were happy to be able to sort of honor her this holiday season by bringing her out to light the tree that she gave the city so many years ago. So I know she left, but hopefully she'll watch this, and Shirley, we're going to miss you, but she's done a great job. First of all, I'd also like to reiterate, and I think Christina did this last time she was here, but we had a fantastic holiday in downtown Ferndale. We had great participation in all of our events and our different promotions, not only by our businesses and our merchants, but we had consumers coming down here all the time, and it was fabulous. The city looked great, the merchants were ready, the people were here, we had a wonderful time. So it's over and done, we're on to the next thing, which was we had our annual planning meeting a week ago tonight. We want to thank especially Councilwoman Piano and Martin and City Manager April McGrath for joining us there. We had a great crowd of people, about 50 different residents, businesses, neighbors, and friends, most of who were all the same friends. In attendance, we reviewed our goals and objectives from 2011 and found out we actually did accomplish quite a bit, and we set new ones for the future, and those will be coming forward in the next months, and you'll have a good idea about what our plans are as we move forward. But believe you me, there are lots of things going on at the DDA, from our different promotions to streetscapes to all kinds of good stuff. I'm also here to present the fact that on this Wednesday morning, we will have our FernNet meeting. It's B2B networking. It is totally free to all businesses. We invite them to come out and be part of it. Anybody who wants to come can come out. We firmly believe that the best way to bring more foot traffic and more business to town is to build strong businesses, and this is a way that we help to do that. Our speaker on Wednesday morning will be a gentleman by the name of David Benjamin. He's a social media expert and a biz whiz who will talk about customer management, and sometimes you really need to manage those customers. So we invite all businesses that are watching and that hear about it, come on down to Treat Dreams. We will not be having ice cream. We will have coffee, however, and it's a great way to start the day. Meet your business neighbors and get some information. Finally, we'd like to promote the Blues Festival. I can't believe, Monica, you didn't do that. So, oh, you were, okay. I don't want to steal any of her thunder, but we love to promote things that other people are doing, and the Blues Festival is so awesome. It's starting Friday, as everybody knows. There's blue tip pigs all around town at lots of our different businesses, so we invite everybody to drop some money in there and raise some money for Michigan AIDS Coalition and the Ferndale Youth Assistance. We'll be posting a list of those blue pig locations at downtown Ferndale this week sometime, probably tomorrow, and that gives me a chance to just finally say, if you're ever looking for what's going on in downtown Ferndale, please visit downtownferndale.com or find us on Facebook. That's it.
Awesome. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Thanks for the update and all the good work. Our next item of business is a public hearing. We are having a public hearing this evening on the redevelopment liquor license for the Woodward Imperial at 22828 to 22830 Woodward Avenue. So the first thing I need to do is open the public hearing and ask if there is anyone from the community that would like to address council on this redevelopment liquor license this evening. This would be your opportunity. Yes, sir. Yeah, just come on up.
Rufino Valentine, owner of Valentine Distilling, also live in Ferndale. Basically, behind, we would be a neighbor right behind Imperial. I've had a chance to follow this build out, see the inside of the place. I think it's done really tastefully. I think it's a real nice addition to the city. One of those kind of places that actually adds character to the city. That coupled with the owner-operator's character, I think it's going to be a real nice addition. That's my 2 cents.
Appreciate it, thank you. I should say that that address is better known as the former Post Bar, in case residents are wondering the location that we're talking about. Anyone else from the public that would like to address this item this evening? If not, I will close public hearing, and I will ask council if there is any questions or, in lieu of questions, a motion this evening on this item.
I have a procedural question.
Sure.
Why wasn't it a transfer of a liquor license and instead a redevelopment liquor license? Because it was a brand-new applicant and it couldn't be transferred, or?
I believe there were some issues with the Post Bar license.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
It's
So they ended it and just started over?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Dan, is that your understanding?
Yeah, it's my understanding that's tied up in a bankruptcy proceeding, and so there is no end date necessarily on the horizon at this point as to when that proceeding will be concluded and available for transfer.
Okay. And then it's my understanding that a redevelopment liquor license is because there aren't any more available for the city or for an owner to purchase, so you can start another one with the redevelopment liquor license process. Is that correct?
Yes, the criteria indicates that there's no other license readily available.
Right, okay, thank you.
And the applicant, my understanding is, in the materials provided some communication that there is no such license readily available.
And was the Post's liquor license the Golden Doors or whatever, the Chinese restaurants? Was it it's a regular liquor license signed?
My understanding was a traditional Class C
Traditional
license,
Class
but
C license.
I do not know that definitively.
Okay.
Perhaps the applicant might know.
I was going to say, Mr. King, one of the managing partners is here. I don't know if you want to, if you had. Okay. Come on up. I don't, maybe none of these are pertaining to you, but.
Good evening, Council.
Yeah, good evening. Just give people a chance to meet you anyway.
My name is Jeff King. I am the managing partner at the Woodward Imperial.
Hang tight in case there's questions. So unless are there any other sort of clarifying questions? Otherwise, before we have discussion, we really should have a motion.
I move to approve a new on-premise Class C liquor license issued under MCL 436.152A1B with an SDN license, Sunday sales permit, outdoor service area, and official permit to Local 241, Woodward Imperial, pursuant to the On-Premise Public Act 501 of 2006, to be located at 22828 and 22830 Woodward Avenue, which is located in the Ferndale Downtown Development District and approved at the above location above all others.
I'll second.
So moved by Piana and seconded by Martin. Okay, and maybe before we even have discussion here, Mr. King, you know, it's amazing how many people watch these meetings on council. You might, on television, you might want to just give us a little background on what you're building out there and what your vision is.
What we're trying to do is we have a strong interest in Ferndale. When we were putting this project together, beginning right around November 2010, we were looking at different cities and locations. You know, there are a lot of different places we could have gone. This was our first choice. We're familiar with the area. We spent a good 6 months going, meeting with different agents, looking for properties. We were actually going to take a different property when this one popped up, and this was, in our opinion, the ideal situation for us to be in. We love our location. We love the community. We love the surrounding communities. The business owners, we took the keys to the building in June 1st, and every one of my neighbors, they've been very patient with us. It's not easy being next to a construction site. And we've been very happy and well received. And really, I can't thank my business Patriots enough. They've really been great. What we really are interested in doing is creating a place to afford the clientele an affordable place and for a different dining experience. We will be open 7 days a week, lunch through regular bar hour. We are focused on a unique style of food that is different and not found in the city. And basically, we really are interested in being pillars in the community, and we're really interested in being a part of the community and growing with the community.
Thanks. Appreciate it. The build-out is very impressive, the way you've really restored that building to, I don't know if it's historically accurate, but to its more traditional and I think attractive. You've put a great investment in that property. So it's more centered on, I mean, obviously there's a liquor license involved here, but
Yes.
more food-oriented than the last establishment that was there.
Very much so.
No dancing, that sort of stuff.
No, we do not have a dance floor. We do not have DJs. We are not a nightclub. We are a bar restaurant, and one of the keys to our business is the liquor license because we do want to offer affordable food. And the only way that we can be a successful business and keep food costs down is to make up that difference in alcohol sales.
Does anyone of council have questions? Mr. King, Molly?
I've seen the inside of it. It's
gorgeous.
beautiful.
What is Los Angeles street style tacos?
Basically what that is an authentic style. No corn, hard shell, no hamburger, not your typical vision of what a taco is or people have become accustomed to. It's an open-faced soft taco that has, we offer 5 different varieties. There are 2 chicken, 2 pork, a steak, unique sides. This is not a place where refried beans and rice is a customary side. We actually don't offer that. We are not a Mexican restaurant. We are basically a place. I'm from California, and this is something I grew up with, and I just haven't seen that done here. I'm starting to see it, which actually makes me happy. I don't need to be the only kid on the block. And I love the idea that there's a food trend that's kind of headed the Midwest way. We just want to be the best kid on the block, that's all.
Mayor, if I could, if there are no further questions, the council resolution regarding considering this type of license does require that council adopt findings of fact, and so it might be appropriate for council to consider amending the motion to include adopting the findings of fact set forth numbers 1 through 20 of the city manager's January 23rd communication to council.
And is that in our packet, or that was?
It is. It's her communication. Her cover communication identifies 20 points.
The 20 criteria? Or
the 20 findings of fact that the review committee.
Starts on page 2.
Right above the proposed
Oh, sure,
motion.
of course, right here, yeah, okay. Oh, I thought because they were included in our resolution that was sort of part of the...
It's not part of your resolution.
Not part of the motion?
Right.
All right. Could you suggest language to
Yes,
amend?
to adopt the findings of fact of the review committee set forth numbers 1 through 20 of the city manager's January 23rd communication to council.
So, Melanie, would you consider that a...
Yes, a friendly amendment?
Well...
Is it a friendly amendment? Because we haven't voted on it
I don't think you
yet.
can make amendments, but would you... You add that to your motion? Dan would have to consider that, I guess, a friendly amendment.
I move to amend the amendment to adopt findings of fact set forth by the review committee on, what was that date?
January 23rd.
Oh, so, okay, January 23rd, and 1 through 20.
Second.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments or questions of council? I guess I do have one question for you.
Sure.
One of the criteria in here, or whatever we're calling this, whatever, number 5 said that the applicant feels that the occupancy will be lower and therefore vehicular traffic and pedestrian traffic will be lowered, thus reducing parking requirements. Based on just the fact that there'll be tables in there for?
Correct. The actual occupancy, the interior occupancy that we've already been given by the fire marshal is reduced because we actually don't have a dance floor in open space, so they actually is based on seating, one per. So that's where our load is actually diminished.
And I see the police chief back there. You typically review these things, have you, and were there any findings of interest on your part?
We did review both this for the DDA license and for the radio license, and this is the one that came up, that whole thing passed with flying colors.
Great. Passed with flying colors, he said, in case you didn't hear that. Good, all right, appreciate it. Any other questions or comments before we vote? And Madam Clerk, call the roll.
I believe we have to vote on the amendment first and then the...
You have to.
Oh, on the amendment to add the 20 points?
Yes.
All right. Then call the roll on the amendment, please.
Okay. Council members Lennon?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes.
Piana?
Yes.
Galloway?
Yes.
And Mayor Coulter?
Yes, thank you. The amendment is adopted. And now the original motion, which was also moved by Piana and supported by Martin. Any further discussion on the motion itself? Amended motion.
Main motion.
Yes, the amended main motion. Then, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Council members Martin?
Yes.
Piana?
Yes.
Galloway?
Yes.
Lennon?
Yes.
And Mayor Coulter?
Yes, thank you, and welcome officially.
Thank you very much. We look forward to having you all in.
Appreciate it. All right, our next item of business would be call to audience. Call to audience is 30 minutes now, more time at the end of the meeting if needed, for members of the audience to speak on any issue that they like that's not on the agenda, because you'll get an opportunity to speak on that at that time. Up to 3 minutes, please. Please announce your name and your address, or you can write the address in the back for the purposes of our city clerk. Thank you.
Okay, Monica Mills again, 275 West Breckenridge, and now I'm here as the co-chair of the Ferndale Blues and Music Festival. We added all types of music this year because we lost some of our old-time venues, which was very exciting because I am so pleased to say that all of our new venues are on board. We've had just wonderful, wonderful response. I want to mention our top sponsors, which of course are Bud Light. They're the naming rights sponsor. Dino's Lounge, which Dean is going to put the big rib tent on again on December 4th, the last day of the event. Oh, by the way, the event starts next Friday on the 27th and runs straight through till the 4th. Another top sponsor is Blue Care Network. Also, Suburban Buick GMC, who just took over the old Fazard dealership, Garden Fresh Salsa, Buffalo Wild Wings, Ferndale 115, and a brand new sponsor this year is the Royal Oak Township Rec Center. They are going to have a really interesting event the first Saturday on the 28th from 6:30 to 9:30. That's an alcohol-free event, so everybody mark your calendars, bring the whole family. They're going to have a $5 suggested donation, and they're going to have refreshments there for purchase. The band that is going to play at that is Champaign and Motor City Blues Crew Band, and they were with us again last year. So that is a real big-name band, and so we're all excited.
What's the date and time of that one?
I'm sorry, Saturday, the 28th. And I brought some programs. They're at the back of the table there, but since we printed the programs, we probably have another 15 concerts that are involved. So visit FerndaleBluesFestival.org, O-R-G, for the updated venues. We have a shuttle bus that runs both Saturday nights around all the venues that have events on the Saturday nights. Also, if you're really not into music that much, but you want to come out and get excited about the Super Bowl, the Fox Sports Detroit Girls are going to be out on that last Saturday night, as well as at the Rib Tent. So come out and meet them and come support our wonderful venues. And we're raising money for Ferndale Youth Assistance and Michigan AIDS Coalition.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks, Monica. Appreciate it. Good evening.
Hello, Council. My name is Trevor Johnson, 1687 West Hazelhurst, and I'm here for the Ferndale Environmental Sustainability Commission, reading our green tip for the month. And it's in regarding to snow melt, which we'd usually read a little bit later, but since we're having such an interesting winter, we're going to read it to you now. And I'm going to read it. I'm going to tell you that when water melts, it goes into our drains on our streets, and that goes directly into our rivers. So we have to be mindful on what is going onto our lawns, out of our cars, out of our pets, out of our hands onto the ground, trash, because that can all go into our rivers. And if it doesn't go into our rivers, and it ends up going into our groundwater or just seeping into the land below us, as Ferndale has lots of sand. So be mindful of what you put on your lawn as fertilizers, what you throw on your ground, and don't throw trash on the ground. That'd be awfully nice. And if you have any questions about our watershed or how water moves through our little town here, Clinton County watershed, Clinton City watershed, the one part I couldn't remember, all the way at the bottom. Clinton River watershed website. You can get information there year-round. Thank you.
Trevor, appreciate it.
Appreciate y'all.
Now we just need some snow.
Yeah, exactly. Or snow consistent. Yeah.
All right. Anyone else that would like to address council this evening?
Good evening. My name is Brad Parks, and I'm here tonight to urge City Council members, the audience, and the TV viewers at home to vote yes on the Ferndale Schools bond vote on February 28th. I am one of the 20 Ferndale school community members who met over the summer to make sure this bond covered only the most essential work needed to keep our district healthy and our school buildings safe. I'm also a parent of 2 kids in the school district, one at Roosevelt and one at the middle school. Now, what will this bond do for students in our district? It'll remove asbestos from the high school ceilings. It'll bring our IT standards up to par with our neighboring school districts. It will improve our fine arts auditorium for our nationally recognized arts program. It will improve our school lighting to make it more energy efficient and less expensive to run. It'll add kitchens to Roosevelt and University High School so children can have warm, nutritious meals instead of something out of a microwave. It'll add air conditioning at Roosevelt so our children can concentrate on learning instead of on sweating. Now, if you're not a parent or your children are no longer in school, why vote for this bond? Read my lips, no new taxes. This bond maintains the current millage rate. Good schools make good neighborhoods make good communities, and a good community maintains and increases your property values. And goodness knows we could all use better property values. So I'd like to urge everyone to go to our website, citizensforqualityschools.org, where you can get more information. You can get voter registration forms, frequently asked questions. You can see pictures of the current state of the school conditions that need to be fixed. Get educated, and please go out and vote yes for the Ferndale School District bond on February 28th.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening. Good evening.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm Violet Toomey, and I want to support the bond because I've been to the auditorium in the middle school and I've performed there, and I think it's important to keep it nice because otherwise it's not very fun and it's not very good for our education.
What did you do there? How did you
I was
perform?
in Schoolhouse Rock, and I have performed with the band.
Wow, very nice. Well, thank you. Thank you. Oh, does she want you to say something else? Great job. Thank you very much. You did a very nice job.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hello, Karen Toomey. I promise I'm not going to say anything more about supporting the bond, but hearing about all the fun excitement that's going to be happening this weekend with the Blues Festival, I couldn't help but to remind people that this Saturday, the 28th, from 12 to 4, is also the All-City Extravaganza. So if you want to see the wonderful auditorium that Ms. Violet was talking about, then please do join us there for a wide array of concerts, and we're going to be showing some of the wonderful things that happen in the classroom, some extracurricular activities. So if you want to get a glance of what all the things happen in our school community, please do join us at the All-City Extravaganza on January 28th.
Thanks, Karen.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks. Anyone else who would like to address council this evening? If not, I will close the called audience, and we'll move on to the consent agenda. The consent agenda are items that are considered routine by City Council, and we enact in one motion. Let me go ahead and read those items for you. Item A on the consent agenda is the approval of the minutes of the regular and special meetings held January 9th, 2012. B, approval of condolence resolutions for Bob Beveridge, Tom Lang, and Vincent Emmy. C, approval of the civil service rules for provisional employees as amended by the Civil Service Commission on January 19, 2012. D, approval to authorize the city manager to hire a full-time firefighter. E, approval to purchase 9 4RE in-car camera systems from WatchGuard for a total amount of $64,249, which includes a video storage server from the drug forfeiture account, and to increase the drug forfeiture capital budget by the same amount. F, approval to acknowledge and approve the new candidates for the Ferndale Youth Assistance Board membership as provided by the Ferndale Youth Assistance Chairperson as directed by the City Clerk. G, approval to authorize taxpayers to submit their protest of property valuation to the Board of Review in writing in lieu of a personal appearance, beginning with the first day of hearings by the board and ending with the last day of the required hearings. And finally, H, approval of the bills and payrolls as certified by the city manager, paid subject to the review of the Council Finance Committee. Council, is there any?
I would move that we adopt the consent agenda in its entirety.
Support. It's been moved by Galloway and supported by Piana. Is there any discussion, questions about the consent agenda this evening? If not, Madam Clerk, please call.
Council members Piana?
Yes.
Galloway?
Yes.
Lennon?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes.
And Mayor Coulter?
Yes, thank you. That agenda is adopted. Our next item of business would be the regular agenda. However, there are no regular agenda items this evening, so we were in for no clapping. So the next item of business would be called to council. Chief Collins, anything from the police department this evening?
Nothing this evening, Your Honor.
Very good. Fire Chief Sullivan, anything from the fire department this evening?
Mr. Mayor, Council, no death and destruction. We have good news. We have a lot of people coming out for cert, although I owe an apology to Randy in the back here. I had to call him by phone, but through the email, we've had 2 meetings and about 20 people that look like solid core citizens that have an excellent background with experience and skills to bring to the table. So we're off to a good start, as well as good news from the county that because we're merging Ferndale with with Pleasant Ridge and Royal Oak Township in one CERT group. That's a cooperative group, so we get pushed to the top of the list when they're looking at funding us with federally funded money through the state and through the county of Oakland. So things are looking very good.
Awesome.
So anybody would like to, Ferndale CERT at ferndalefirerescue.org, or call the fire station and we'll give you the information and set up our next meeting. We're going to start going to recruitment meetings and to training meetings. We're going to start training the people we got and get moving.
Excellent. And I think you described it best last meeting. For those that don't know what it is, it's sort of the police auxiliary for fire. Right?
Exactly.
I mean, it's
for emergency services outside of anything along the law enforcement and that part of the establishment. We're there for storms and that, but we're going to use them more frequently for other things like first aid and wires down and other things where we could be augmented when we're short-staffed for things that we don't want to sit well-trained firefighter and equipment on, but yet need to be protected so no one can get hurt.
Good news, thanks.
Okay.
Thanks for everyone who stepped up to help. Byron, anything from DPW this evening?
Nothing, Your Honor.
All right, thanks. Thank you, sir. Jill, anything from the Recreation Department this evening? Nothing this evening, all right. Marnie, you stepping in and very ably for our city clerk this evening. Anything from the clerk's office tonight?
Over the clerk's office has nothing. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, appreciate it, and appreciate your help this evening. City Manager, April McGrath.
Couple announcements. Just a friendly reminder that Shirley's retirement party is Thursday from 3 to 5 here at City Chambers. So if you would like to come in and bid her farewell, that would be appropriate. We'll have some treats and beverages for people to express their gratitude for her years of service. The second thing I want to remind council and just kind of give more of an update on goal setting. We have goal setting scheduled for February 6th from 6 to 9 p.m. We're tentatively at the library. We're just getting that room confirmed, and we'll have dinner, try to get there at 5:30 so we can start promptly at 6, but we will have dinner available for council and staff. A little bit about the process, just so people are clear and council is clear on what to expect that day. We're going to kiss our goals this year. We're going to keep it very simple. So one of the things that we're going to do is I have worked up a questionnaire to give to council and to staff to kind of spark the conversation and give me information, provide me information ahead of time. I'll be asking questions such as what are some things that are that you are interested in starting, or expanding on some programs, initiatives, concerns that you have, trends that you have noticed that you think that we as staff need to prepare for. Staff will be also asked the same questions as well, and I hope to kind of gather all the information ahead of time so that we have a chance to review that, so when we come to the table on February 6th, we can start to talk about and prioritize those goals, initiatives, programs that we've set forth. I also want to clarify that this is to get us through this next fiscal year. The last time goals were set were for the fiscal year before the current one we're in. So we actually don't have technically we don't have goals for this year, and I thought that we would at least like to get those for fiscal year ending 2013. And from that point, this fall, we're really going to start to look at the next 2 to 3 years for the goals that we have for the city, community-wide goals. So this is just an interim step to get us to start thinking, and then we'll start looking forward to the next 3 to 5 year goal setting and stuff of that nature. So again, look for that email from me tomorrow. It's a questionnaire that you can easily type on and send back to us. If you'd rather not type it, you can write it and get it back to us in that capacity. So again, that's February 6th. It's Monday from 6 to 9, tentatively at the library. I'll get that confirmed hopefully tomorrow.
And to reiterate to my colleagues, so you're going to get this questionnaire in the next day or two. You have till the end of the month to fill it out and return it, so that we can have a good and rich discussion on February 6th about our goals. So please keep your eyes open for that. Anything else?
No, that's all I have.
Very good. Dan, Chris, anything else?
Very briefly, I've been working on a concessionaire and solicitation ordinance revision as directed and requested by the city clerk. I will be forwarding that to staff this week with the hope and expectation that it will be coming back to council at either the first or second meeting in February. And that's all I have.
All right. Dan Martin, anything?
Sure, just a couple things. I want to congratulate Paper Street, which is our business incubator in Ferndale. They hosted what was an incredibly successful, I think, first-time event called Ferndale Soup that was modeled off of Detroit Soup. And they raised over $300 for charity. Is what it is you go in, you pay $5, you get homemade soup and desserts, and listen to 3 very brief presentations, and get to vote for the charity that has the presentation that appeals to you most, and then the winner takes the door. It's very simple. It's a lot of fun. It's a good way to meet neighbors. And the first one was last Sunday, so it's the 3rd Sunday of every month. So I would highly encourage folks to come the 3rd Sunday in February if they're so inclined. It was a great event. I was really impressed with it. Taste of Ferndale, I'll say it 3 more times, February 21st, of course, coming up. And also, I've had the privilege lately of getting to know Ferndale Rotary lately, and that also I found to be just a great organization. I'm officially joining it this week, and they meet every Thursday at 5:30 if people are interested. There's plenty of opportunities to eat and get involved in all this stuff, so.
Great. Good. Mr. Lennon, how are you?
I have nothing.
Nothing to say. All right. Councilwoman Piana.
First of all, I wanted to say Councilman Lennon, I really like you without the mustache. I had to do a double take today to figure out what was different about you. I like it.
I'm younger.
You do look younger. Couple of things, transportation updates. Over the summer, I had reported out that through the Woodward Avenue Action Association, the Woodward Transit Oriented Development Task Force received a $50,000 grant to create a TOD plan between Ferndale and Birmingham. And we've been working with LSL Planning and in coordination with the 6 cities at the table. And this concept plan is near completion. And it's going to the Planning Commission for review. And I expect it to come to council for review in March. Hopefully the first meeting in March, if not the second. So the other cities are doing the same thing, bringing it to their planning commissions and councils for consideration. And the other one is this week, the $2 million alternative analysis that the 6 cities won between Ferndale and Birmingham. With the, I call it transit drama. With the transit drama, with the BRT announcement and the Woodward Light Rail no longer happening and then back on, those announcements impacted what was going to be in our project scope with the $2 million. And so we were asked to wait while SEMCOG and the FTA, the Federal Transportation Administration, figured out how to deal with those changes. And so this week we're talking about and learning what those changes could mean. So hopefully in early February I'll have some details for you on what that means for us in Ferndale. Ferndale Foundation, Taste of Ferndale. I have tickets. Buy them from me, not Dan. And, so thank you. That's it.
Did you get a prize for the most tickets sold, or just a
bragging rights?
Bragging rights. All right. Thank you, Councilman Galloway.
Just a couple points, Mayor. Ferndale is very fortunate to have a number of newspapers covering us, whether they're online only or print editions. Oldest is the Daily Tribune. We have the Woodward Talk that's been publishing for a while, 115, and of course the Patch. What Ferndale doesn't have, though, is an official newspaper. And so any businesses that are representing themselves as the official newspaper, none of those are making statements that are not in conjunction with any sort of action on behalf of the city. So a new paper in town is no more official than any of the other ones. We had a couple speakers on the millage renewal or extension, I guess, for the schools. I'm not sure if they mentioned that the date of the vote is February 28th. That's the date of primary here in Michigan. I believe you have until the end of this month to register. Is that correct, Marty?
Yes, it's 1 month out from the election date, which would be
28th.
28th.
This is a zero millage increase, so the millage, whether it passes or not, is going to be 7 mills to be put toward improving the schools and sort of completing all the originally identified issues back in the 90s. So the website's pretty informative, citizensforqualityschools.org. Get all the information you need there. That's it.
Excellent. I have 2 just brief things this evening. First of all, I will mention just briefly about the election on the 28th and the school bond, and I'm not going to politic from here, but I'll tell you I've endorsed the millage because, as the gentleman I think very articulately said earlier, it really is about the infrastructure and modernizing our buildings. I don't think it's the Cadillac plan. It's probably more the Chevy plan. But there are some needed, long overdue needs of our schools, and I think this is a really reasonable proposal, and I would encourage residents to go to the website, learn more about it, find out what it is that you are being asked to support, and whatever you decide, make sure you vote on February 28th. Secondly, I want to just point out, in case anybody saw it, our state senator issued a press release this morning that's caused a lot of confusion around monies for a public service merger between Pleasant Ridge and Berkeley. And the press release made the impression that that merger, that was going to happen, and as most people know, Pleasant Ridge gets their fire services from Ferndale, and this has been an issue over the past year. I want to just say that, to clarify that press release, Pleasant Ridge had asked for some funds many months ago to help fund a possible study to consider whether they wanted to do that or not. The senator is just now putting out the press release about that, apparently. I want to let people know that we've had ongoing discussions with the city of Pleasant Ridge, some very productive discussions. I think, in fact, we may be coming to council at the next meeting with some specifics that we need you to vote on. But we've had very encouraging discussions in terms of keeping Pleasant Ridge as an important partner in our fire department, and we'll be coming to you next meeting, I think, with some more details. So just to clarify, because I think the press release was pretty misleading and made it sound like Pleasant Ridge had decided to go and partner with Berkeley, and that is certainly not the case. And so I wanted to be clear about that. And with that, I have nothing else, and this meeting is adjourned. Thanks.